Today is budget day. Ain't you excited? And Jeremy Hunt, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, has already leaked an announcement. Childcare will be expanded to 1 to 2-year-olds. It's currently only available to 3-year-olds, 30 hours a week. Sounds great though, doesn't it? Obviously I welcome any expansion to childcare, for struggling families that is. But I don't see how it's going to work. I think I agree with Stella Creasy when she says that it will cause a childcare collapse. And before I get into it, please boot the old like button. And there will be a secret word at the end of this video. Just think about Little Britain, because it's kind of where we're at. Well, childcare costs are pretty much one of the most expensive in the world in the United Kingdom. It's certainly more expensive than it is here in France. Oh my God. Painfully so. Many people are having to pay around £269 a week. That's a lot of money to find. Here in France, it's about 60 euros a month. It's a big difference, wouldn't you say? Well, I don't think this is going to work anyway. Because we don't have the provision in the United Kingdom. We don't have the people. Since Ola and Numpty's put that cross in the wrong box back in 2016 and again in 2019. No, we don't have the provision. Now, my son, for instance, his, childcare costs went through the roof last year. When he had to change nurseries. Because the nursery that he was using couldn't afford to carry on running. It closed down in Norwich. Okay, he's got a nursery now. And he gets 30 hours a week free. He's still got to pay the difference, obviously. Fair enough, you have children, you've got responsibility, you need to pay for them, I get that. And I'm sure those on the right would say, oh, why should I be paying for other people's children? Yeah, the Lee Andersons of the world probably hates childcare provision. I won't be a bit surprised. But the idea is it gets people back into work. Now my question is, why the hell are we in a situation where both parents have to work? In the olden days when I grew up, it was my dad that went to work. My father, he was a boat builder. And he went to work every single day to put food on the table, get the roof over our heads. And if there's anything left over, well then, we might have gone on holiday or something like that. Maybe got some fish and chips or go to the Chinese. I don't know. That could have been something. But these days it seems that it's a requirement for both parents to work. Not a requirement because it's kind of the culture of that's what we do. Necessarily, no. It's because they have to. The cost of living crisis is not just it's been going on for decades. It's all the cost of living crisis that's just made the situation even more severe. Now, back in the olden days, when I was growing up and our parents could afford to buy a house, feed the family, on one person's wages, and he didn't earn a huge amount of money, no. Why can't we do it today? Well, house prices have been going through the roof, haven't they? Every year, 15% increase in house values. Okay. They're flatlined in the last few months, I must admit. But they haven't necessarily gone down too much. No. Even when people's money has been, well, squeezed. The disposable income's been squeezed. But how on earth are we going to provide all this additional childcare? Well, we can't. We just don't have the people. And we don't have the funds. The people who are going to have to set up all this additional childcare, well, there's going to be businesses. Because what it is a business. It's a privatised system. Who's going to invest in it? If you can't get the people. We can't get the people to even pick the food in our fields last year. And the same thing's going to happen this year, if not worse. So this is a bit of a situation. A situation that I don't really see any way out of. No. And the racists won't be happy. Not if we're going to open up more childcare provision by providing visas to African countries. Oh, I don't want a brown person looking after my kid. Oh, dare. No. Don't even want trans people reading stories about bunny rabbits. They're not going to want brown people. Racists. Well, so I had to say it. I really did, because it's just fact. Some of those people out there on the right, hard right, are just nasty, evil pieces of work. Sorry. Now, I understand why the Chancellor of the Exchequer, Jeremy Hunt, is pushing this policy. I get it. Because it's a necessity. That somehow they need to get people into the workplace. But it's not going to work if you can't get your childcare. They're also talking about getting people out of retirement. Maybe those people could be working in childcare. Maybe. But you end up you go to work all your life and you retire, so you can maybe go on a few holidays, have a nice time, but they can't afford to because the cost of energy has gone through the roof as well. Most people's pensions have been gobbled up by at least a third because of the cost of energy. And if you're on a state pension, oh my God, just give up. Dig your own hole. Light that fire. Just be careful what you do with the ashes and what way the wind's blowing. Things are pretty dire in the United Kingdom, if you ask me. This is a bit of a rant, I must admit. I would just end up, just drives me for decades now. I think we've been going the wrong way. I think we really have. Now, I admit that back in the olden days when I was growing up, when I was a kid, and it was just my father out at work, yeah, I have to admit, my dad was sexist. Yeah, my mum wanted to work, but she didn't work because my dad was at work. Because mum was looking after us, as when we were kiddies. Oh, that's how it was back then. But why can't we split the load? I understand why now, because people can't survive. Need two incomes coming into the house. Need 40, 50, 60 grand coming into the house just to survive. Interest rates, mortgages. 1.5 million people having their mortgages renewed this year on fixed rate terms with increased interest rates. I know people say, you can't survive on this. But everyone's circumstances have changed. Not just people at the bottom, but people sort of, just in the middle. They might have had loans. Contracts are signed up to that they can't, they can no longer actually pay. Monthly payments, what have you, and they can't do it anymore. Well, I get that. But you can't get out of the contracts. So what do? You have to apply for bankruptcy. And then you lose everything anyway. So, what do you do? It's just, this whole thing's madness. This is the Tories, you realise this? 13 years of Tory rule have not improved anything. No. It's all very well saying, they got us out of recession. Well, it's doing a Gordon Brown, if you ask me. He's the one who got us out of recession. The world actually out of recession. But the Tories have benefited from it in some ways. But all they've done is hold down the interest rates for too long. Way, way too long. And we haven't had that buffer to pull ourselves out. It's been a spiral of more debt. They want you to spend more money. But if you're not earning it, what are you doing? You're borrowing it. And talking about borrowing, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, Jeremy Hunt, he said that we have more provision to provide in the budget. He said more provision. No, I don't mean to say you got more money. All that means is he's going to be borrowing less. The provision is the bank we can sustain as regarding what we can access regarding borrowing in the first place. It's not about how much more money we've got in our gross domestic product. No. It's about how much money we can actually borrow. We don't need to borrow quite so much this year because maybe things are a little bit better. Yes, our economy has improved a little bit, 0.3%. It gives a little bit more provision, but this means you borrow a little less. We're still borrowing exorbitant amounts of money. So all these new provisions, all these new ideas that should, in normal times, boost the economy, I don't see how it's going to if you haven't got the people. And we're not making them anymore. No. Unless your name is Jacob Rees-Mogg, that is. Blimey. I wish he was castrated at birth. But anyway, that's another story. So, I believe that Keir Starmer is right. This is sticky plaster politics. It's not really costed. No. In real terms, in the sense of manpower. And Stella Creasy is right. That could pretend, I think she's 100% right. It's going to cause a collapse in childcare because we just don't have the provision, and to create more demand on childcare. And yes, you can say, there's an opportunity here to make some money, but if you can't get the people, why would you invest in it? Same argument with the farmers. The farmers have got the fields. They've got they've got people to eat the food. They can sell the stuff. They just can't harvest it. And then they've got, obviously, the cost of provision. Now, if you want to encourage your people into the workforce as carers within, childcare, you've got to start paying more money. So what you get for your free childcare hours is going to be this budget of $4 billion. What Jeremy Hunt reckons be, the CBI says it's going to be $9 billion. It's going to be flipping $15 billion. Because you're still going to get free 30 hours free, but the cost of providing them to the government is going to increase. Because the cost of wages will have to go up to encourage people into that, workforce. Why else would you do it? Who's going to go into childcare if you're not going to be paid more than the minimum wage? You're not, are you? I don't think so. Anyway. Secret word at the end of this video. It's coming very soon. Anyway, if you guys can't, don't forget to hit the old like button. And, if you want to support us, you can do that on Patreon or buy us a coffee. And the links are down below. There's also a link to a page, because there are ways you can support the channel if you want to. Because we couldn't do this without your help. We really couldn't. And sometimes we've got truth to power and all that, haven't we? Because this lot... Oh my God. And I'm not saying Keir Starmer's going to be any better when they finally get into power. When we finally get an election date, that is. So, this is a spiral. It really is a spiral. Anyway, a secret word at the end of my video. After I get all depressed. I'm thinking Little Britain. And Jacob Rees-Mogg. And all his kids. That she's going to be childcare providers in the future. Well, one thing I have a bit of beer in my bonnet about is women in the workplace. We should encourage it, provide provision. I agree. And I don't see what the problem is. That women... breastfeed. Well, why is that an issue? You're some sort of perv? That's become a bit of a problem for you? This is going to bring me on to my word, my secret word on the end of this video. Well, my daughter breastfed all her children, and she's got another one on the way. Well, on the way, it'll be here any minute. Well, within a month anyway. That little boy. But she's always breastfed. Now, what gets me is some of the sly, snidey, horrid comments she gets from people when she breastfeeds. Don't get me wrong, she'll get tic-tac and flying about all over the place. No. She's discreet. But the pervs out there, they have a problem with it. But we know why. Because the pervs. Talking about breastfeeding, it brings me on to Jacob Rees-Mogg and his nanny. Because I reckon he's still suckling. That's what he's doing with Jacob Rees-Mogg. So, secret word of the day, Little Britain and Bitty. Bitty. Oh, Bitty. Anyway, please move the like button. Oh, God. Political correctness and all that, eh? Oh, dear. Sometimes I just wish I could bring back Little Britain. Pull the rug out underneath these Tory charlatans. Ta-ta.